right, joining us now to discuss BTC price and all the news is Martha Reyes-Hulme, head of research at Bequant. Hello there, Martha. Thanks for joining us. So taking a look right now at BTC price, would like to hear your outlook. We've been seeing that it's been coming under pressure amid a lot of global macro uncertainty, despite some comparatively good news in the crypto industry.
Hi, Christine. Thank you for having me on the show. And it looks like you're having so much fun out there in Miami. I wish I could be there with you. So yes, I think what you pointed out about the exchange outflows is really quite a bullish sign for Bitcoin. We also publish a chart in our monthly report, which we have available to clients, and we also have on our website for anyone interested, looking at Bitcoin wallets who have been holding Bitcoin over a year, and that's getting to highs that we haven't seen again for several years, up to 63%. And as we know, wallets that hold Bitcoin for the long term, in this case over a year, are much, much less likely to sell. So they've been, during this downturn, they've been in accumulation phase. And what we've seen in the past, those accumulation phases can last for a few months, but at some point that can lead to a rally in the market. The market will rally and then they will sell into that strength, and then we'll go through another process of accumulation. So that's also a bullish sign for Bitcoin. However, in the short term, we are still a little bit cautious on the market. As you pointed out, there's been a lot of macro uncertainty. We've had a real rout in the bond market in the last few weeks. And, for the year, we're already at the 10 years at over 2.6%. So that is, there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment around the Fed rate hikes. We're pricing in at the moment around 9 rate hikes for the year. Inflation is at 8%, and that's in February. That's without even taking into account the full picture from the Ukraine crisis, the impact on food and energy prices in general. So the market is quite cautious around that, and that's having an impact on Bitcoin as well. However, we think it's also
with the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, as well as gold. What does that say about, will we see a decoupling from BTC from the more global macro traditional market perspective?
Yes, we always kind of like to look at the correlations, because sometimes we think, or people will say, that Bitcoin tends to move in line with the market. And while that can be the case for over short periods of time, as we can see here on this chart, the correlations don't tend to be very strong with the S&P, with the NASDAQ. We had early January, of course, we had a sell-off in the market, and then correlation spiked across the board, across asset classes. But that's since waned a bit. And in fact, gold's completely gone off in a separate direction as inflation expectations have increased, and we have, deeper negative rates. Then the opportunity cost of holding gold as a store of value falls, and that's why it's been outperforming. More recently, in the last few days, we've seen the correlation with the markets, with the S&P, with the NASDAQ, trend back up a little bit, again on the back of this comments from the Fed, the minutes from the Fed, and the rout in the bond market. However, if we zoom out longer term, there have been great studies done around this, and I can cite, for example, the Bitwise study done last year, where they looked at a traditional 60-40 portfolio from 2014, because before that, adoption of Bitcoin was perhaps too small to really be substantial enough to study. But from 2014 onwards, they looked at portfolio and adding to a traditional 60-40 portfolio 2.5% holding in Bitcoin, and found that it improved returns by almost 19 percentage points, which is a huge amount.
Martha,
With that,
I just want to plug in there. You sent us one more thing about unspent transaction output, and we see that is surging. So what does that tell us about the price?
Yes, this is what I was commenting earlier. Is we think is quite a nice chart to look at, and it's one element that we would look at to create an overall picture. It wouldn't be, I would emphasize, it wouldn't be the only thing that we're looking at because there are many elements that go into the analysis. But this, along with the exchange outflows, I think is interesting at the moment, and we're seeing almost highs that we haven't seen in several years in terms of wallets holding Bitcoin for over a year.
Okay.
And that we're at 63%, over just a tad over 63% today, I noticed. So we're watching at what point we're going to cross that record that we had in 2020. And you can see from the chart that during a weak market, people were accumulating, holding their Bitcoin, and then when the price started to rally, they started to sell into that strength. And then when we went into a weak period again, they started the accumulation phase, and that accumulation phase can last for quite a few months. It doesn't mean that necessarily tomorrow we're going to get a rally in Bitcoin, but the longer it holds at these levels, the more bullish the signal for Bitcoin.